Hello everyone, welcome to Malin Chess Kids. Today we show you the game played by Rodolfo and Jorge, and this beautiful game complete in just 19 moves. And let's see how the game play. The game start with the pawn to e4, and now the black reply with a d5. Then the white just capture the pawn, and after this, knight to f6 was played. And the game continue with the knight to c3. Then the black capture the center pawn, and the knight capture. Then the queen capture again. So after this, the knight developed to f3, and you have a bishop to g4, pinning the knight. And if the knight move away, you have capture. This is the first five. The position is equal after the first 5 moves. And the game continue with bishop to e2 to unpin the knight. And after this, the knight develop to c6. Then the white go for a short castling while the black go for a long castling. After this, d3 was played, and now the black trying to play e5 with the idea to allow the bishop to move out, and also the pawn in the center can go for the attack the knight. So after this, c4 was played trying to attack the queen, and the queen just moved back to d7. And after this, the bishop developed to e3, and this bishop with the idea trying to capture the pawn. And after this, f6 was played. And here, this is the first 10 move, and the black has an edge in this game. Then the game continue with a bishop with the queen to a4, and now you have two pieces attacking the a7 pawn. And in the actual game, the king move to b8 to protect the pawn at a7. And if you make a move such as develop the bishop to d7, now if you capture the pawn, then if your knight capture, then if your queen capture, and now any move from the back, such as example you move a bishop to d6, then you have a simple checkmate with the queen. So that's the reason why the queen goes to a8, and you have a multiple attack, and the idea will be a back rank checkmate with the queen to a8. So the king just move king b8 just simply to protect the pawn, and the game continue with a rook d to rook f to d1. Then the knight just block the diagonal attack, knight to d4, and after this, queen to a5 was played. And this is one of the tactical blunder, because with this move, the black can capture the bishop for free and check the king. So the correct way would be use to capture back the queen and go for the exchange. And if you use the knight to take e2 and check e2 and check the king, then the king can move nearer to the knight, and now the rook is captured and the king captured, and this will give black just a better or an equal position. So in the actual game, the queen a5 was played, and this the knight just capture the free bishop. And after this, the king, if your king move to f1 was played, and now the knight just move back to d4. And after this move, you can see that in the move, in the action, the black win the white bishop. So after this, the queen trying to play a b4, and here the white just play a b6, trying to attack the queen, and the queen move to a6, and this pawn is hanging and is free again. This move, the white just use the bishop to capture the knight, and with this capture, the black is clearly winning, and the white capture it back, and this is another mistake, and with this, the black is winning and mate in 7. I give a couple of seconds to figure out how the continuation of the black to play and win the game. Well, congratulations for those who found the answer, and for those who like to enjoy the show, here are the moves that the black play and win the game. And in the actual game, the black just move queen to h3 with a diagonal check, and the king is have very difficult to escape from this checkmate. So after queen check, and the black is mate and winning the game, and you can see nothing can block the check. So the only way, there is only 2 moves for the king to move, and if you move the king to g1, then the knight will just capture the pawn at f3 and check the king, or the knight also can go to e2 and check the king as well, as the queen is control both of this square, and any of this check, the king is forced to move to h1. So let's see if the knight just capture the pawn and check the king, and the king move to h1, then the queen will just capture, and it will be a checkmate protected by the knight. And at this position, if you move the knight to e2, check the king, and again the king only have one place to move, that is king to h1, and now you have a queen capture the pawn and checkmate the king. Queen takes f3 and checkmate the king, and again nothing can block the check, and the king cannot be escaped. So back to this position after the queen check, and in the actual game, the king moved to e1, and after this, now the black can just capture the pawn, the free pawn, and again check the king, and after capture and check the king, and now again you can see that the king cannot move again, and the only way is to block the check. So in the actual game, the white just block with the bishop, and now the queen just capture the pawn at f3, and the black is winning with this simple checkmate at e2, or the queen can just go to h1 and back rank checkmate the king. So after this move, any move from the white, such as you can just capture the pawn and check the king, and the king just capture. Then if the bishop capture the bishop, then you have a queen to e2 checkmate. And if you don't capture the bishop, if you move something like bishop to c3, again you have also queen to e2 checkmate. And if you move something like rook to c1, again you can now have two options: queen to e2 checkmate or queen to h1 checkmate. So this is another idea. So back to this position where after the bishop check, and here if you block with the rook, the black also going to win the game because the pawn can be captured by the queen. Queen takes the f3 pawn, and now again there will be a checkmate at e2 and also have a h1 back rank checkmate. So the white only can delay the checkmate by using the king to capture, and after king capture, then if you use the bishop to capture the knight, then the pawn will just capture. And why you use the pawn to capture is you allow the rook to open up the e file and continue check the king. And after check the king, the queen also can go to h1 and have a back rank checkmate. So now if the white play king to f1, then the queen will continue to check at h1, and this forces the king to go to d2, and lastly you have a rook checkmate by either of this rook and checkmate the king, as the square has been controlled all by the black. So I will choose a rook h to e8, and it will be a checkmate. And if you move the king, if you move the rook to d1, such as rook a to d1, then you will have the queen to h1 check again. And if you move up, then you have the rook checkmate. Or even at this position, you can use the rook to checkmate first, and after king to f1, then you have a queen to h1, a back rank checkmate. So the beautiful of this game will be the knight come to e2 and check the king, and after capture the knight, the pawn will capture, and this allows the queen to control the file that is being opened by the pawn. And with this, thank you.